Hey guys, insight number 5. We're in Mark 12, verses 41 to 44 for this. It's very short. It is mentioned in Luke. Yeah, Luke. It is mentioned in Luke. But this is where the story of it is. Luke, it just gets mentioned as happening, but Mark tells what happened. And I'd probably like to know more detail, but that's what we've got. So let's read it, because it is really good. Now notice that starts off, and Jesus sat over against the treasury. And beheld how the people cast money into the treasury. So here he is again, taking a meditative moment, a grounding moment of just watching people's behavior, so that he can then take that and teach his disciples, his apostles, what this is. It's his ability and strength of teaching from everyday occurrences and the things around us, because that's what makes most sense to us. So while we don't go casting into treasuries anymore, we pay tithing online, most of us, sometimes still by envelope to the bishop, but most of us do it online. So no one actually sees what we're paying these days, so it is about attitude, and it's between us. But in those days, it was quite public. And in some churches it still is. Like, there's a lot of pressure to put like donations on a tray that gets passed around. And while, yeah, that's lovely, but it's a lot of pressure on some people to give what they just don't have. Yeah, it's interesting how they do that. It's different. It's different around the place. But anyway, in this instance, and for this story, this account rather, so he's standing there beholding how they cast money into the treasury. And many that were rich cast in much. They had a lot of money, so they're casting it in sort of like, look what we've given. Yay, look at us. And there was a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 mites, which make a farthing. Now the value of 2 mites is, the footnote literally just says poor. So, like, yeah, poor. It would be like 2 cents. Like, you couldn't buy anything with it. It's pretty much, you should be throwing in a couple of buttons, might be more worthwhile, you could at least use those. But that's what she had. That's all she had. And he called unto him his disciples, and saith unto them, Verily I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast more in than all they which have cast into the treasury. For all they did cast in of their abundance, but she of her want did cast in all that she had, even all her living. So, let's look at this, because this is beautiful. This is so beautiful. So tucked away in these 4 verses, Jesus calls his disciples over to teach them what he observed, because they weren't with him. He was standing there just watching, and they're like talking and mingling and discussing, I guess, because this is the week-ish between the triumphal entry and his crucifixion. So it's a very short period of time that we're covering over 2 weeks. We enter in next week into the Passover chapters and the actual crucifixion time. So these last couple of weeks have just been that short few days, a week. It's about a week in between that. So he calls them over to observe the widow and her 2 mites, and what he got there. And she gave all, trusting the Lord to provide. That's what he says, in her want, gave her all. Not simply her excess, not just what she had in abundance, her excess, but everything. That's all she had. She had the clothes she was wearing and the 2 mites, and in they went, knowing that the Lord would provide. She trusted that. So what is your all, and what is your excess? Because I'm thinking, to us these days, we often have transactions where we don't actually use cash. So cash has lost a little bit of meaning in today's society. So I'm thinking, okay, what is my all? And I went to the books I love to read, the ones I go back to time and time again, like the one I had earlier, like this one, where I've like marked in here and put notes and stuck stuff in. So they're like, those are my treasures, those are my all. I do not want to lose those. I do not want to give them up. My abundance or my excess would be like, well, I've got clothes I could probably give away, and there's food in the cupboard I'm happy to share with anybody, but nobody borrows my books. There's some that I don't want anymore, and I'll give them away, but there's a lot that are my treasures. They have my markings, my study notes, everything in them. They're not for giving away. So that's my all. And if Jesus said to me, I need you to give those up to help someone else, it would be really hard. I don't know if I could. I'd probably argue about it. But easy to give my excess away. Quite easy to shed the excess of my life and share it with others, like the extra top I don't wear, and I've probably got some shoes I could do without, and I definitely have food that I could share because I know I can replace them. They're my excess. It's like I'm in abundance. You can have those things. It doesn't have that same deep meaning as giving away what my all is. So what is your all and what is your excess? So want in verse 44 there means her falling short. So like in her want. So in my falling short, I'm casting in what I have, trusting that the Lord will provide and give me things so that I have adequate rather than falling short. So Jesus cast all he had in because of our want, our falling short. Jesus's want was to, and still is, to cover our lack. That's what he wanted. In his want, he covers our falling short. To know us and for us to know him. That's what he wants. So no matter your position in life, what are some ways you can give your all and not just your excess? So what are some ways that you can share all, like with the, deeper, how can I help? And it's not necessarily giving away stuff, but there's ways that you can give your all rather than just your excess. Like look at time. Is there ways you could give your time better, like all your time better? Or are you only willing to say, oh, I'm not doing anything on Saturday. Yeah, sure, I can come help you. Or are you able to, like if there's a real need, are you able to rejig your schedule so you can help that person? That's some of the things you could think about. What are some ways you could better give your all rather than just the excess that you've got to, better organize things so that you can actually truly give what is needed rather than just, oh yeah, I've got that free, I can help you with that. No. Something to think about, eh? Because there really is ways, not just monetary. There's a lot of ways. Attention, time, just quality of time even, right? Quantity and quality of time. That's a big one. There's a lot of things. A lot of things that we could do better in giving of ourselves and all. And one of those things, definitely, is to love ourselves more, so that we are able to take care of ourselves more, so we are able to give and help. Absolutely. This is the ultimate in spiritual preparation, because we're talking about preparation, parables of preparation, but this is the ultimate in spiritual preparation and a relationship with Christ. What is your abundance? What is your all? What is your excess? What is your all? Thomas S. Monson said, he who gives money gives much. He who gives time gives more. He who gives of himself gives all. And I think that really covers the point very aptly. So you can give money, like I pay tithing, and am I blessed for it? Of course I am. Is that why I pay it? No, I pay it to help others. And I'm happy to give it to the discretion of a bishop who I might not even get along with. I happen to really like our bishop, but sometimes you give it to a bishop that you don't even get along with, knowing that he can do whatever with it. But that's not the point. The point is that it blesses me by being obedient, and not just in stuff, but in my spirituality and my relationship with Christ. So I give much when I give money. You do. If you can give time, then you're giving more. But if you can give of yourself, that's all. So love yourself more so that you can go out there, spread that light of Christ, love people well, build others up. Like, do that and have that daily relationship with Christ. Increase the kingdom. And that's all starting with your relationship with Christ and how you see yourself like he sees you. And to learn to embrace that and invite that in and love that, because that is going to just grow all of this preparation. In knowing Christ is all of the preparation. You will be guided in what you need to do. It is different for all of us. So that's my testimony of preparation. 100% love it. Hope you've enjoyed this week. We will be with you next week, as I said, talking about Passover and instituting the sacrament and some of those really teary topics. So maybe get some tissues in the house, right? Prepare, get some tissues around. Okay, love you guys. Stay safe out there. See yous.